Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another new movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Leatherface. So as you all know by now, Leatherface is supposed to be a prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre Sawyer version. We got two families, very, very complicated. But we're following the Sawyers still. So it is a prequel to all of the Texas Chainsaw movies, and it involves Leatherface as a teenager and escaping from an institution with 3 other patients and taking a nurse hostage, and you know, we're supposed to be able to see the events that molded Leatherface into the Leatherface that we know. What did I like about Leatherface? I do like that it keeps kind of like the same, like kind of like dingy and like almost kind of like trashy, dusty, hot look that the other films have, in particular Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is the most recent installment besides Leatherface. Like that was our most recent movie involving the Sawyers. So I like that they kind of match, so it kind of like, I just feel like it ties the movies together really well visually, like it looks the same. And I always liked that look too. It almost feels like otherworldly. Like just the way that it looks, like I said, just like dingy and dusty and hot and isolated. Like you really feel like you're somewhere else, and that's what scares me so much, especially like, of course, about the first one, because that's my favorite one, that it feels like you're just somewhere else where like normal rules and laws don't apply. And even in the hospital too, you feel like it's just so incredibly violent and dark that it's got to be somewhere else. Like it's just some other world that we don't know about. And I do like that they leave you some clues as to which of the boys is Leatherface. So we do see Jed as a younger child, like maybe I put him at like maybe like 8 or 9. So you see him then, and there's, I don't want to talk about specifics obviously because this movie just came out, but some stuff happens and then he gets taken away to the mental institution, and it cuts to 10 years later. So we're not really sure like what he would look like at this point, and especially like, you know, his hair definitely would have changed and things like that. So it's up to you to kind of figure out, of the 3 boys that escape, which one is Leatherface. But I like that they don't make it, this might sound weird, but I like that they don't make it so difficult to figure out. I don't know, I like that they kind of like, there's really 2 good options of who it could be in the movie. Again, I'm not going to say names either, because, and I will say I guessed it right. I'm just saying, I did guess it right. If you're paying attention, you'll know which one it is. But they set that character, the correct answer, against somebody who is kind of like the obvious choice. Like if you're just like casually watching, you're probably gonna be like, oh, that guy's definitely a Leatherface for sure. But I like that, you know, they leave some kind of like clues in his personality, like as a young kid, to let you know who it's gonna be. Now let's get into what I didn't like about Leatherface. I feel like I always have more complaints than anything when it's a sequel or a prequel or a remake. Like normal people do, you know, it's only normal. Ultimately though, the biggest problem I had with Leatherface is that it doesn't really add anything to Leatherface's story, and I think I would have liked this movie a whole lot better if they didn't sell it like we were gonna find out what made Leatherface Leatherface. They definitely sold it like, you know, we're gonna find out like what events molded Leatherface into the Leatherface we know. They sold it like that. Like, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. They definitely sold it like that. But the events that I think actually made Leatherface into Leatherface happened off camera. So obviously we open with Jed being like that 7, 8, 9 years old. And you know, we see his interaction with his family. Again, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm trying not to say anything. But we see his interaction with his family then, and obviously we know that has a lot to do with what made Leatherface Leatherface, is his sadistic and insane family. And then it cuts to 10 years later, and so we've missed like 10 years of 10 developmental years in some sort of mental institution. And one of the other characters mentions to Jed that, like, they're talking about the nurse that they take hostage or something, saying like she's just like the other foster mothers or other nurses or something that hurt you before. So it's like so we've completely like skipped over all of the things that most likely made Leatherface Leatherface. There's nothing that we don't know already. Like, we know the Sawyers are crazy and sadistic and violent. We know that. And yeah, aside, like, it's like you got like the first 10 minutes and then the last 10 minutes, and then everything in between doesn't really add anything, except for a lot of gore and violence and things, which is all really great, but it doesn't add anything. Would you watch Leatherface? Personally, I would say no. I feel like most of you guys are gonna go out and watch it anyway, and that's totally fine. Please go form your own opinions about it. Don't just go based off of mine. But I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it adds really anything to Leatherface's story at all. But I mean, technically speaking, it's a well-made movie. Like, it looks great. There's a lot of good gore and blood effects and a whole bunch of like really gross moments involving carcasses, which I won't get into, but they're gross and awesome. So if you're gonna watch for that, for sure, it's good that way, but they just don't deliver on their promise. And that's my problem. And I know for a fact I would have given this a higher rating if they hadn't sold it the way they did. It's my big problem is with how they sold the movie. So I was expecting something and I got something completely different. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. Ugh. It's like I was at war with, I was like, it looked good, like as a movie it looked good, but the story just did not meet expectations. So I was like, I wasn't gonna give it a 3, but it didn't feel right. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. On IMDb right now it has a 5.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes critic and audience score is 32%. And then Roger Ebert gave it a 1 out of 4. So if you've seen Leatherface, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here and become a creepy peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday, and we only have a few days left of Shocktober, but there's an additional movie review for the remaining days of October. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay strange.